The Tigers on Saturday at Littlejohn. Clemson has lost 5 of their 7 ACC games by a total of 8 points. P.J. Hall, who turned 22 today, and Tafara Gapari get us going, and P.J. Hall just went over and back.
And P.J. knew it as soon as he did it.
Yeah.
He knew he was throwing the basketball into the backcourt, and he could only smile about that one. You're talking about a veteran, but I'm sure this is probably the first time P.J.'s ever caught the tip.
Look at Gerard and Clark saying, what are you doing there, big fella?
What the heck?
Yeah. Nate George, the freshman from Toronto, and Dongo, another rookie who's had a terrific first season for Damon Stoudemire, with Gapari, Miles Kelly also on the floor, and Kawasi Reeves, who takes the bounce pass here. They crash the glass, and Schieffelin the rebound.
And you can get used to saying that. Ian Schieffelin with the rebound. He is a monster on the glass.
Tiger lineup with Chase Hunter, Jack Clark, Ian Schieffelin, P.J. Hall, and a young man that I think Boeheim may know named Joseph Girard III.
He's waiting in the corner.
Clark a 3, and one and done are the Jackets.
WD, was it the first time ever in pregame that a player came over and dapped up his former coach as an analyst on the sideline, as we see Miles Kelly knock down the 3 ball?
It was. We did set a precedent there. This crew has done few things. We've done that for sure. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Clemson.
I've had him for 4 years. He's going to say hello now. His mother's sitting right behind me, and she said hello too.
3-0. Jackets in front. A look at Damon Stoudemire's lineup. Schieffelin for the 3, and good. Ian Schieffelin, who's from Grayson, Georgia, knocks down his 14th 3 of the year.
One of the most improved players in the league, I think. He just does a lot of everything, and when he makes a 3, that's a bonus.
Here's George offering up a 3. Nate George, who hit big threes to get it to overtime and to win it, Corey, in the first meeting.
But that's the confidence you have. When you know you've had success against a team in a prior matchup, you have that confidence coming in to take that shot early.
Chase Hunter answers.
And we're starting out with a lot of 3s here. Like, these two teams are pretty good defensively, and they're just wide open 3s.
But 3s were the story of their first matchup. 15 made for Georgia Tech on the road, while Clemson only went 3 of 21 in that game.
Here is Kelly, who had 36 and a loss at Louisville, working on Hunter. Reeves will drive. Leave it for Ndongo. Missed everything. Girard the rebound. Tigers want to run. Hall from the logo. Wait a second now.
We know he's got it, no question about it. And every basket for the Clemson Tigers thus far has been a 3-point field goal. So they made 3, and they didn't make the 3 in 50 minutes in the last one.
Kelly from the other end of the logo.
He can really shoot it as well.
Each school's got 3 threes. Kelly's got 2 of Tech's 3. Schieffelin on Gapari. Oh, nice move back inside. Ian Schieffelin with 5.
And Coach said he's one of the most improved players in the ACC. In my opinion, he is the most improved player in the ACC, and I expect to see him win that award when the season's over.
Terrific year for the 6'8 junior. Step back 3, that's Miles Kelly, airballed it. Chase Hunter will let it go out of bounds. Well, P.J. Hall and Ian Schieffelin, their team lost that first meeting, 93-90 in double overtime, but it wasn't for what they did, Corey.
Absolutely not. A combined 51 points in that game and 32 rebounds. They were spectacular, and 17 of those rebounds were offensive rebounds for those 2 guys.
Schieffelin foul line jumper knocks it down. He's got 7 here early. His last 2 games, he was just 3 of 11 from the floor, averaging 3.5 points, and Schieffelin's been on the money here so far.
Coach, when you've got a guy that improves that much during the season, do you start running things for him to try to get him looks?
You know, they run things for everyone. They're pretty well-versed offense. They're not going to any 1 or 2. They'll go to Hall a little bit, but they'll move the ball around. They'll take the shot that's there.
Girard wants in on the game. And is officially now in the game. 77th 3 of the year for the second-best 3-point shooter in the ACC, and Joseph Girard III.
And Joe Girard coming here was a smart move. He found the right spot. Sometimes in the transfer portal, you do.
Tigers haven't cooled yet. R.J. Godfrey coming to the table. Gerard trying to keep the momentum going here for Clemson. Here's Hall again over, and Dongo rings the bell.
And Dongo hasn't come out yet. He's going to have to.
Timeout now. Asked for. It's a 10-0 run. Clemson has but 1-2, Corey.
Well, it must be hot Atlanta for the Tigers, baby, because they are on fire. Miles Kelly getting the job done for Georgia Tech. However, he has not been the answer for the threes that have been flying from the Tigers to start this game. Woo.
Shooting.
Well, I would say this because I'm here. However, I've seen enough games where this has not happened, so I can't take credit for it, but the shooting has been phenomenal from both teams to start. But you look back at the first matchup between these two. Clemson 3 of 21, 5 of 6 already in 4.5 minutes played to start this game. Georgia Tech got a great shooting night first time out. Off to a good start here, but that's their only points is from beyond the arc.
I mean, this is some shooting right here. I mean, Clemson, I've watched them a lot over the years. They're not known to shoot it like this. And Georgia Tech's got to play them. They got to get up on them. They're just letting them shoot.
Clemson allowed those 15 threes. That's the most they've allowed all year long, by the way.
And remember, Damon Stoudemire told us earlier today, we've got to make some threes against them. I don't think he was expecting to see them come out and shoot it this way on his home court.
Tigers were 9 of 24 on Saturday at home at Littlejohn against NC State. And there's Clark with a steal. Sturdivant will give chase, and Clark will flush it home with the right hand.
That was so easy pickings, Coach. He was able to steal that with the wrong hand. He didn't even have to have the right hand extended in the passing lane. That pretty much just threw that to Jack Clark.
And I think Jack Clark is starting to round into form. He's missed a lot of time, and he can be a key player for them.
Boy, Clark's missed a lot of the last 2 years.
Yes.
His season in Raleigh, and certainly a 9-10 game stretch here for Brownell. And Dongo off the offensive glass can't finish.
And one thing for Georgia Tech, they can't try to get it all back at once. And we know the threes have been going in, but you can't try to make up for all of it on one possession.
P.J. Hall a fall away on Ndongo. That's 8 for Hall.
He's gotten better every year that he's been in the league. He's a prospect. He's got a shot to play at the next level.
And this is also the healthiest season he's had during his tenure at Clemson. He's battled a bunch of injuries over the 4 years.
And Coach Brownell said that he's been hurt the last 2 weeks that not too many people knew about. So he's healthy.
Tigers have turned it up on the defensive end. They just forced a turnover here, and you see the Clark steal.
It doesn't get any easier than that. And Jack Clark, as Coach mentioned, he's getting healthy, so he turns it into the dunk with P.J. Hall having himself an evening thus far. Knocked down 2 threes and then goes to the fadeaway. And he is one of the toughest covers in the league. One of only 2 players nationally averaging over 19 points per game, a block and a half, an assist and a half, and over at 9 rebounds.
Georgia Tech's gotten into the bench. Ibrahim Sacco, a freshman from Guinea, is onto the floor. Here's another bounce to Hall. Double team quickly there with Gaspari and Tyjon Claude. Now they'll skip it back to him. Here's Gerard from the left. That's the first miss of the Tiger night.
But, Coach, that's the one thing you can't have with a team that's going this well offensively. You can't give them second chance opportunities.
No, you're going to have trouble if you do.
Clemson turned away at the offensive end. Tech has gone almost 4 minutes without a point. Meanwhile, the Tigers have been on a burner. George will launch, spins off, and Sacco runs down the rebound. Tyjon Claude, who played well the other day, has played 20 or more minutes in 4 of the last 7 off Stoudemire's bench. And there's the jump shot, and that is Tafara Gapari from Wellington, New Zealand, with his first basket of the game.
And a great decision by Gapari, getting into the painted area, not shooting the 3. And that's the thing for Clemson. Are they going to fall in love with the three-pointer right now? Brad Brownell not necessarily happy about that last shot.
Yep. Lead a dozen for Brownell's team. Damon Stoudemire's godson is the Georgia Tech guard Kyle Sturdivant, and there's going to be a foul on Godfrey. R.J. Godfrey draws his first. It'll be the first of the ball game on the Tigers, and that'll allow Schieffelin to return, and we get to see Chauncey Wiggins for the first time tonight for Clemson, another local Atlanta product from Grayson.
You know, one thing about making the outside shots, I used to like that when guys made threes to start the game because now they fall in love with it. As you said, Corey, they don't get inside, and Clemson's very good inside, so they need to mix it back up a little bit.
Sturdivant looking for Claude. 8 to shoot. George. Gapari. This is Tyjon Claude. He missed everything, and it'll be a push on Ibrahima Sakho. Sakho's first on Georgia Tech. Let's go back to our visit with Damon Stoudemire earlier today when he said, we got to weather the first 10 minutes or so of this ball game. Well, it's been a storm. He's weathering a storm here, Corey. It's an offensive storm, and it's a little bit of a defensive resurgence by the Tigers, too.
The worst thing that happened for Damon Stoudemire and his staff is the fact that Clemson lost at home last time out. Because now Brad Brownell has their attention that they have to pay attention to detail. Every possession matters, especially coming on the road in an area where this team has beaten a number of good teams.
Here's Wiggins. It got blocked away and recovered Gapari. He'll try and beat Wiggins to the basket with a right hand and draw the foul. Tafara Gapari is a 6'9" sophomore who started his career at UMass, and he is long, Coach.
Look at the wingspan. Look at the block shot. I mean, come on, that's not an average play. Gapari does a great job getting out, contesting that shot, and then has the ability to put it on the bounce and get to the free throw line on the other end of the floor. Coach, there's a lot of NBA scouts in the building today, and I'm sure they started writing down on their notepad on that play.
Yeah, he's athletic. You know, it was close to a goaltend, and they talked about it, but they kind of walked away from it. It was close.
Yeah, I saw Bill Covington talking to you about that going back. You know, it's funny how much better your relationships have grown with these officials now that you're over on this side.
I love these guys.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was hoping you would use. Gapari hit both. He's got 4 off the bench. He had started the last 3 games coming into tonight. Make it 4 now with the nod for Stoudemire. And back to a 10-point deficit.
Zone defense here to see how that works. Huh?
Schieffelin. Kick for Beadle. Josh Beadle's 3. Spins out. They crash the glass. Look at Schieffelin. Could not beat George to the recovery. Gapari, Sakho. And here's the rookie George, who's, well, I'll tell you what, he is second in the league in assists as a freshman. There's Gapari, a 3 out of the corner. That's his 44th attempt of the year from distance. Hunter going to spot. Nope, back rim miss. 1 and done. Are the Tigers here?
I think that's what, 5 in a row misses. They started with 5 out of 6. I mean, that's what happens.
George on the drive, forced it up, and it goes. Corey, the youngster's got a knack now.
He absolutely does. He had 20 points against Clemson in that overtime win on the road. So he comes into this game, and as a freshman point guard, you know who you had success against. You can't wait to see those teams the next time out.
And Wiggins turned it over. That'll get us to a break. Tell you what, Clemson ran off to an early advantage. R.J. Godfrey and the Tigers felt good about it. Damon Stoudemire hoping to hang on. 8-point game in Atlanta. Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 17th through the 25th as ACC Unity Week. And both Georgia Tech and Clemson tonight demonstrating their commitment to seeing each other as equals and treating each other with respect and dignity at all times, recognizing that our differences do not divide us, but make us stronger. Back with Corey Alexander. Coach Jim Boeheim, West Durham, 8-point lead for Clemson. The Tigers started 7 for 8. They're 2 of their last 8. 5 of 6 from 3 and missed their last 5, Coach.
Yeah, you know, that early shooting is sometimes it's good and sometimes it leads you into taking too many threes. So they've got to stabilize themselves. The zone hurt them a little bit, but now they've got Joe Girard back in and they've got their starters back in.
Miles Kelly has returned for Georgia Tech. Sturdivant, George, Kelly, Claude on the floor here, along with Ibrahima Sakho. And the Tigers have gone 4 minutes, and there's an offensive foul, and it's going to be against Tyjon Claw, 6'7" grad transfer from Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Coach, after you had the lull offensively right now, are you looking to get the basketball inside to P.J. Hall? Is that that's the route here?
100%. They're going to try to get him the ball.
And we got another foul at this end, and it's on Schieffelin. Same deal. First on Ian Schieffelin, local product. Young man from Grayson, who we've talked about in terms of his improvement. In ninth grade, he was headed to football. Guys, he was a quarterback in the ninth grade.
Tough guy, I can see that.
Yeah, he lost 35 pounds along the way, ahead of last year, and tell you what, he's turned into a really good basketball player.
He absolutely has, and one of the things that he's an underrated scorer, has the ability to shoot the three. We saw him do that earlier in this game, but his rebounding prowess is off the charts.
Number 1 in the ACC in conference play in offensive rebounding. There's Sturdivant, a little hezzy in the lane, and the bucket, Corey. First points for Kyle Sturdivant, averaging 8.5.
And he's been a steadying force off the bench. You know, when you've got a freshman starting, it's such a pleasure, a luxury to have a backup that is a upperclassman that can come in and show you the right way things are supposed to go, especially when your godfather is the head coach.
6-point lead. Schieffelin bangs home a 3. He's now got 10 here in the first half. That's his 8th double-figure game against the conference.
What a different player he is with that shot. I mean, it changes their whole offensive attack. They needed a bucket, and he makes a 3. That didn't happen last year.
Yep, lead back to 9 now. Bounce pass, Sacco the catch. Clark bothered it. Hall with the recovery. Clemson really still hadn't gone inside to drive the ball yet, have they? Here's Schieffelin squaring up on Sacco. Double team coming from George. Got some help. Here's Girard. Now's a bounce pass for Schieffelin. Up strong, off the front rim. Sacco the rebound.
But that was what Brad Brownell wanted. He wanted to see his team get the basketball inside to Ian Schieffelin. And Schieffelin has had success on the offensive end. That's one of the reasons why they want to get the basketball in his hands. You see him trying to post up hard, but as P.J. Hall has the block, you give him that much space, he's already shown he can knock it down. Only taking 13 threes coming into this in ACC play. However, has knocked down 2 already to start this game.
Dylan Hunter's come onto the floor. Sophomore from here in Atlanta, younger brother of Chase. Clark had it bothered by George. Now here's an entry for Hall.
You have to be fearful of double teaming the way Clemson shot it.
PJ left it short, clawed the rebound. Lead is 9 for the Tigers. Ndongo. Back for Sturdivant. Here's Ndongo with 7 to shoot, and he threw it away. 5th turnover on Georgia Tech. Quick reminder to you, next Wednesday night, following Louisville and Duke at Cameron, a special presentation, the debut of Coach K and Roy Williams, rivals reunited. An extensive conversation for the first time since their careers started over 40 years ago. It's next Wednesday night, 9 o'clock on ACC Network, streaming live on the ESPN app.
You got something to do with that? You involved in that?
I was humbled to be asked. Yes, honored to be asked to be part of it. Had a great time with Coach K and Roy. Girard at the foul line's got 5.
You know the ironic part of that?
What's that?
Is that Duke is playing Louisville prior to that.
Right.
Which is Coach K's first ever Final Four.
Dallas.
Where they lost to the Cardinals in the national championship game. That was '86, correct?
Yep, Reunion Arena in Dallas.
Never nervous?
Never nervous Purvis.
From
one of the best freshman seasons of all time.
Yeah, from Savannah, Georgia.
Actually, maybe the second best freshman season of all time behind a guy that...
Later played for Coach K. Kawasi Reeves, his 44th triple of the year.
He did play for Coach K, but he also played for Coach Bay during that freshman year. I'm going Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
MVP.
Yeah. Here's Clark out front. Godfrey a 3. Nope. R.J. Godfrey is just 2 for 6 now from three-point territory this year. Lead back to 8 for Clemson. George trying to beat Hunter on the drive. Oh, what a tough shot. I really like the young man from Toronto, Corey.
Absolutely, and you can see that he's just going to get better and better, of course, when you're playing for an NBA Rookie of the Year head coach. Being a rookie at this level should be a little easier, and it's gotten easier for Nate George as the season's gone along.
Dylan Hunter left of the lane. Hunter, who's averaged 2 points in his last 4 on the board.
Coach, Dylan Hunter, of course, one of the 5 players on this Clemson roster from the Atlanta area. Do you see guys oftentimes really trying to press a little more when they're playing in front of their friends and family?
Yeah, I think that happens. I think sometimes Pearl Washington was great. He wanted to be in New York, and he lit it up. But some guys, when they get home, it's a little tough.
Kelly missing the 3. Gerard off the deflection. Clemson again looking to run. Spot up 3 at the front. Spins out.
He wanted that one.
6 minutes to go in this first half. George is running the offense for Stoudemire here and doing a terrific job. Claude in traffic, had it blocked. A roll hit the end line, and a foul has been called as we go to the timeout. Clemson by 8 in Atlanta. Clemson with an 8-point lead. We welcome you back to Atlanta tonight here at McCamish Pavilion. Great to be with Corey Alexander and, of course, Coach Boeheim. We're tucked right here by the Clemson bench. More on that later. All right, let's go to the projections.
Well, it's time.
Joe Lunardi has 4 ACC teams in his field today.
Who's
However,
Who?
Jimmy Brackett.
That's what
Corey.
we're talking about,
Yeah.
baby. Let's talk some Jimmy Brackett time.
Well,
Jimmy
first
Brackett.
of all, we're up from 3 to 4, which is a good sign. And, I mean, those 4 teams, are rock solid. And I think Wake is really rock solid. And Pittsburgh, when you look at Pittsburgh, 6 road wins, including Duke and Virginia.
Right.
So I don't really think there's going to be a problem with the ACC. I know there's disrespect, and I'm not worried about it. And I'm going by what I see. Forget the net. Forget these other things that are out there. The net we know can be gamed. You can game it, not just by margin of victory, but beating somebody badly and getting efficiencies. But when you look at these 6 teams, they look like NCAA teams. And I think the ACC can get somebody else in the mix as well.
By the way, the foul on Claude as we went to break, his second, so he has come off the floor. Sacco back out there with George, Kelly, Reeves, and of course Ndongo. And here's Gerard into traffic. Bounces back for Hunter with 8 to shoot. Schieffelin another 3 from the front. Sure.
Boy.
You betcha. Ian Schieffelin's got 13 of Clemson's 33 in the first half, Corey.
He is a confident young man right now. We talked about guys who are playing back at home, had opportunity to meet his father in the restroom. Well, let's not talk about that. However, talk to Tim
well, why
Schieffelin.
bring it up?
Tim Schieffelin earlier today, and he is excited about this Clemson team, and he agrees with Jimmy Brackett's that this is an NCAA tournament team.
George on the drive, rebound Sacco. Hall, nope, Schieffelin clears it away.
That kid does everything for his team. He's
Sure does.
really improved.
Wiggins. Chauncey picks up on the dribble, now to his former high school teammate at Grayson. Entry pass, nicely done for Godfrey, working around Ndongo, and it rolled off the front rim for R.J. Godfrey, and then Georgia Tech lost it over the end line. Stays with the Tigers.
Ian Schieffelin having himself an evening thus far in front of friends and family, stepping up, knocking down another 3-ball, and then, just a little point to the crowd, let everyone know, hey, I'm here for all of this.
Tigers by 11. Here's Hunter. Wrap around from Godfrey. Schieffelin with the right hand. Nope. Bounces away. Just ahead of 4 to go in this first half. You see Georgia Tech, almost 3 minutes without a point. Reeves' shot fake. Just above the foul line. Grazed by Gerard. On the flyby, it'll be the first on Joseph. 4th on the Tigers. A couple of free throws coming from Macon George's Kawasi Reeves. Georgia Tech is a team, by the way, shooting almost 71% in conference play.
Joe flew by him, but I'm not sure he hit him. It looked like he did, but I'm not sure he really did. It's right here in front of us, but I'm not going to start.
You don't have to fight for calls for Joe anymore.
No, I'm not.
Don't forget, Sunday, a women's basketball triple header for you on ACC Network. How about Boston College hosting Notre Dame at noon, and then to Blacksburg. Courtney Banghart visits the Hokies. And Corey's cousin Kenny Brooks, presented by Food Line. That's at 2. And then at 5:30, we'll finish up with Duke hosting NC State all Sunday on ACC Network.
And College Game Day visiting Blacksburg this Sunday to be able to cover that North Carolina at Virginia Tech game. But I like the way you introduced Kenny, Corey's cousin, Kenny Brooks. I like that. I'm going to start calling him that.
Here is Hunter stepping in, and the jump shot good for Chase Hunter. That's 5 for Hunter, and it's an 11-point lead again for the Tigers.
Yeah, Joe Girard, they stayed right with him and never moved to come to Chase Hunter. That's what a guy like Joe Girard does for your shooters.
Ndongo against Hunter, or against Wiggins, and he'll draw the foul on Chauncey Wiggins. Second on Wiggins, that's 5 on Clemson. We'll get free throws for the freshman by Ndongo when we continue.
Abdul-Jabbar, but that is great history from Jack Clark to be able to tell us about his grandfather. But you can see the pride that he has, you know, still to being able to have a chance to talk about that.
And I saw Lou Alcindor play in high school. That's how old I am.
Oh, wow.
Power Memorial, right?
Did you? You didn't recruit him, did you?
Close though.
Close.
Right, close.
Close. No, Coach.
No.
Coach.
That one we
Coach was watching then. You weren't even in high school yet, were you?
I was in college.
Were you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Played in the holiday festival. And Lou played in there on an off day.
Yeah.
And he was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
By the way, we were talking about this today. Here's Ndongo at the line. How difficult is the ACC all-freshman team vote going to be, Corey Alexander?
I think that's the toughest one, because you think about there are 2 great candidates on Georgia Tech teams alone. We mentioned, you know, Nate George is second in the league in assists behind Reese Beekman.
Right.
But look at Marcus Burton. Look at Jared McCain.
Jalen Lowe.
They're at Bob Carrington.
Bob Carrington.
There's a lot of perimeter players in the league.
There are 8 guys that I think could be all first-team rookie team.
How about Jack Clark tossing in another 3?
I think he can be a big difference maker for them down the stretch. As you said, he hasn't played much in 2 years. He starts to get his rhythm these last 4 games. He's going to really help this team.
Boy, his health has meant the world to Brad Brownell in terms of the way he's been able to play the last half dozen ball games on the floor to start. There's a bounce pass to Ndongo. Good matchup here with Hall. Skip for Reeves and a 3, and Schieffelin the rebound.
Is Schieffelin going to have a double-double in the first half? I got to look. What is his rebound number?
Not as many as you think.
Okay. He's only got 3 rebounds now. So, and that's the part that you're used to seeing him already have close to 10 in the first half.
PJ out front.
Oh,
yep.
They're back. Coach, they're back.
That's 11 for Hall. That's 13 for Schieffelin. That's 24 of Clemson's 41.
But Georgia Tech hasn't scored in the last 5 minutes of this game, allowing Clemson to build their biggest lead thus far after they made it a 23-15 game.
Offensive foul on Ndongo here, and this is when he sweeps the arm here, he picks up his first 4th on Georgia Tech.
Jack Clark trying to get the basketball inside. However, when you're playing off him, has the ability to knock down the 3-ball. And P.J. Hall, Coach, you mentioned, he's an NBA player. This young man not only can score on the post, but he's got range as well.
He's really improved his offensive game.
Look at the 3-point number. 9 of 17 for the Tigers here in the first half. Backdoor cut, Hunter the shot fake. Fallaway got blocked. Girard long with the 3.
He doesn't miss the open ones very often.
Sturdivant. Feels like a big 90 seconds here, Corey, for the home team.
Coach, being that we're right here beside the Clemson bench, did Brad Brownell give you permission to yell at Joe Girard when he came off the floor or anything like that?
Only if he gets beat bad defensively.
Okay.
3-ball bounds away off the hand of Gapari. So with about 70 seconds to go in this first half, Tigers have played awfully well and building what is a 15-point lead. That got blocked by Kelly on the jump shot by Hunter.
WD, how about Brad Brownell coming in the shoot around today and looking at me and you like, forget you guys. Where's Coach Boeheim?
I want to talk to the
Coach.
I want to talk to the Hall of Famer. Schieffelin kept that alive, Corey, for Hunter.
Coaches do stick together, you know. Come on.
No question about that.
It's like referees. They stick together, but they have to because nobody else likes them.
Here's Hunter on the drive, and we're going to get a foul. I believe before the block is what Jamie Luckey is saying. And the foul is on Gapari. It will be his first. That's 5 on Georgia Tech. We'll see if there are free throws here for Chase Hunter.
Hard decision by Hunter to attack the paint, though, get downhill. They've shot a lot of threes this first half. Getting to the free throw line can get them back collected. 6th best free throw shooter in the ACC is Chase Hunter. And the first of the 2 is good. Don't forget, we've got ACC gymnastics for you right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app Sunday afternoon. And Old Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, Coach.
Wow.
Gymnastics.
I had a few bad nights in there.
Well, number 24 NC State visits Pitt Gymnastics. It's on ACC Network and always available on the ESPN app. WD, I did tell you earlier who used to be a gymnast in his younger year. P.J. Hall.
That would be first team All-ACC candidate P.J. Hall.
The Hall-American.
The Hall-American can kick his foot way above his head. It's an unbelievable sight for a guy 6'9".
Yep. Here's Ndongo with Schieffelin defending. Sails one for Sturdivant with 8 to shoot. He'll launch and hit. Kyle Sturdivant, 29th 3 of the year, gives him 5 in the first half. Clemson will call the use it or lose it timeout with 12.5 to go. Brad Brownell draws something up for the last possession of the half when we continue from Atlanta.
When you have a history of greatness, the real challenge.
Situation here going to the locker room.
You try to get a stop here. As you know, they're very fortunate to hit that 3 down here.
Right.
You get down 16, it doesn't. You're in trouble. Clemson's a really good defensive team. They don't give away big leads very easily. So they're just trying to get a stop here and go in 14 down.
And if you're Brad Brownell, you want another 3 on the fire?
You want a good shot. You want a good shot right here. They'll probably go inside, I think, but
Hunter wrapped it around. There's Hall the catch and blocked Ndongo. Wow, what a play. What a play by Ndongo. And here goes Gapari at the horn.
He still lost the game.
So Georgia Tech, who had 5 in a row to end the half, cut it down to a 12-point lead, has the ball to start the second half. And nobody on the floor with more than 1 foul for Damon Stoudemire.
And no one over here can see anything because Brad Brownell is in our way. And again, of course, he has the right to be there.
Sure.
But a difficult view from our angle.
Here is Nathan George driving Schieffelin with 3. Dumps it downstairs. Gapari threw it away, and here's Gerard off the turnover. Bounce pass, tough pass. Nice catch, Jack Clark, and he lost it. Couldn't hang on to it.
Really tough pass. He got it to him, though, and he had a chance to get it.
Brad Brownell thought Georgia Tech touched it last. Jamie Luckey said, no, sir. It belongs to the team in white. 4th turnover on Clemson.
Jamie Luckey's been reffing for 50 years. He's not looking at Brad Brownell.
And you would know because you've been coached for 47 of them.
I was right there with him. I was right there with him.
We have a foul, thank goodness. Called on P.J. Hall off the ball. And it'll be his first. It's the first on Clemson in the second half.
One of the great things about being positioned right here is we actually get to talk to Brad Brownell during the game when he turns around, whether he's happy or
not sure he's
displeased
about
something.
He really cares what we think, but you're kind
of. No. Not that he cares what we think. We just get a chance to talk to him.
Well, when his team's making threes, he's talkative. They miss, and that happens, he's not talking.
Here's Ndongo fall away, and Hall, nope, saved in the corner. Gapari from Miles Kelly, who's stuck with it.
And Miles Kelly's been quiet.
Brad Brownell trying to get his team organized defensively. Here's a 3 ball from Gapari. Long rebound handled by Hunter.
I believe Clemson is going to allow Gapari to be the guy. If they're going to get beat by 3s, they don't want it to be Miles Kelly or Nathan George. They want it to be Gapari shooting that.
Gafara 8 of 43 from behind the line coming in. Chase Hunter on a bounce to Schieffelin.
That's too low.
And missed the layup.
Georgia Tech fortunate to dodge that bullet. You can't allow Ian Schieffelin to have post position that close to the basket.
Here's Ndongo in a mismatch against Chase Hunter. Takes him baseline, missed the layup. Hall the rebound. Here's Hunter in the air, fed Schieffelin. 15 now for Ian Schieffelin.
But, Coach, that's another one of those plays. Joe Girard created that because he ran to the corner. You got to think about where the three-point shooter is. It made it an easy drop-off for Chase Hunter.
Inside goes Kelly. He couldn't finish. Gapari has it. Right back for Ndongo, and Hunter blocked that. 10 to shoot for Georgia Tech. This is Kawasi Reeves, and a long three is short.
Two easy opportunities for Ndongo under the basket. That's what Damon Sturdivant talked to us about, the inconsistencies of these young players. Got to recognize you got to go stronger than that. Otherwise, point guards in the ACC block your shot.
There's Girard all the way around with the little scoop. 7 for Joseph on his third field goal.
Next year, Ndongo will finish those plays. You're going against veterans, and he's just not quite ready, but he'll finish those plays next year.
Tigers have run 4 in a row on the board here to go up 16, Corey, as we go to the break here.
Turning defense into offense. Chase Hunter coming up with the block from behind Ndongo. And on the other end of the floor, Joe Girard coming up with the easy bucket for Clemson. Which turns into a bucket on the other end as mom, Brandy Lewis, is taking it in and enjoying watching not just her son Chase, but also Dylan Hunter.
Yeah.
Both her boys performing for the Clemson Tigers. And Wes, here's the question. She's a Georgia girl.
Yes, she is.
Who does she hate worse, Clemson or Georgia Tech?
Why are you doing this?
It's got to be Georgia Tech at this point with two sons playing for Clemson.
Yeah, she's not hating Clemson, I can tell you that.
Ndongo working inside and scores. Tough shot by Ndongo's first field goal of the night, by the way.
But, Coach, when you're one of the dogs in Georgia, you hate Clemson. I know it had to be tough for Brandy to send both of her boys to play basketball at Clemson.
But once they're there, they're here. That's her school now until they leave.
Here's Girard. Tigers lead by 14. Joe, tough shot. He'll draw the foul on Nathan George.
Joe's gotten a little better at getting. He hasn't done it a lot this year, but he can get there and draw the foul. And that's when he becomes really dangerous offensively, when he can get to the foul line.
And he created the contact on that one. That's what Nathan George is. And they're asking Damon Stoudemire and his staff out asking Bill Covington to review that because Joe Girard, who created this contact, you see he jumps into George, but that's legal. However, when you see the elbow connect with the face, that's why Damon Stoudemire and this crowd want that to be reviewed.
It's close.
So the foul on George, and then going straight up was
it looked
Joe
to me
Girard.
like he's going straight up, and there's a little minimal contact.
We'll step aside in Atlanta. It's a 14-point game under review.
Hey,
All right, so Jamie Lucky's going to go to the table here and now come over and give. Everything is going to stand, it sounds like. So Girard will be at the line to shoot 2 free throws here. Corey,
that is perfect. I'm glad that this was called the way it was. Jamie Lucky talked about it. First off, you see the hand in the back, but he starts in the cylinder. And as Joe Girard goes up, you see George enter into his cylinder, although Girard is making a basketball play. So I love this call by the officials. And, Coach, I'll be honest, I thought they were going to come back and call this a flagrant one. But I'm glad that they did not.
I think they got it right. I hate to say that, but I think they got it 100% right. Took them a little while to do it, but I think it's the right call.
I agree wholeheartedly that it's the right call because that's a basketball play. And that's the conversation we had with Brad Brownell. Of course, we're in close proximity. And he says, but it's a basketball play. And we said, yes, it is a basketball play. But oftentimes we see basketball plays still called as flagrant one fouls.
First one by Girard is good. Damon Stoudemire.
What Damon doesn't like is the fact that there was contact from Girard's elbow to George's face. And so by the letter of the law, normally that is called a flagrant one foul, which is why I thought they were going to call it.
And as a coach, you just get madder and madder when the guy makes the 2 free throws, too. It just makes you madder.
Yeah, but that guy's 90+%.
He isn't missing. No,
that's automatic.
He's not missing.
And Ndongo now against Jack Clark. Clemson's pushed the lead to 16, and Ndongo goes to the deck. Schieffelin is going to be called for the foul. Ian Schieffelin rolled over the top of Ndongo. It'll be his second and number 2 of the half on the Tigers. Clemson plays here tonight at 17-8, 7-7 in the ACC. They are 8th right now, but they have a net of 28. The non-conference was very good to the Clemson Tigers.
Most importantly, they beat good teams and on the road or neutral sites, and that's always going to be big.
Ndongo forces up, too strong, recovered inside Claude. And George would tend to shoot because the ball didn't hit the rim on the Ndongo offer. Working on Gerard, fall away, George is short, Clark the rebound. Here's Clark, back for Hall.
See the difference as to how the bigs for Georgia Tech are up.
Now Schieffelin in a double team, Corey scores.
But you see how they're guarding P.J. Hall at the three-point line now in Schieffelin. They're not getting those easy looks like they got before, but that opens up things on the interior for Clemson now.
The Chef is 3 off his career high of 20. He's got 17. Tigers have got their largest lead of the night. Sturdivant. And it will bounce in over Hall. Kyle Sturdivant's got 7.
The thing that's dangerous was Clemson. When they make threes and now they can get inside, they're a difficult team to beat.
Here is Schieffelin. Jim, the talk of the early season was how good they were defensively and how good they were shooting it. Hall was trying to get a timeout called. Did he get it called? He did, as he rolled over to his stomach to collect the pass. We'll finish that thought in a moment. We step aside in Atlanta. Clemson by 16.
Here at Papa John's, we know our stuff.
Corey, here's where they are defensively. 337 in D1 out of 351, and just kind of where they are steals per game. They don't strike you as lockdown. Now, they held teams down early in the year. That number gave way in conference play, where they come in today. They're 9th in field goal defense, 12th in three-point field goal defense. So how have they been able to maintain this season with the backup a little bit on that end?
Well, let's start with the fact that Brad Brownell is a defense-first coach. However, this edition of the Clemson Tigers are very good offensively. Their defensive personnel is not the same as what he's had in the past, but they get it done on the offensive end of the floor. And oftentimes when you're that good offensively, you lapse a little bit on the defensive end.
Hunter spins in the lane. It's too strong. Sturdivant the rebound. Yeah, R.J. Godfrey, by the way, checked in for Schieffelin during the timeout.
Clemson's much better offensively right now. Defensively, they have some issues. They're not as good as some Clemson teams.
George kicks it away for Sturdivant's 3. And Clark's going to run that down, and off a deflection of Claude, saved it to Hall. Here's Gerard. Little spot up 2, missed everything. Sturdivant the other way, and that's too strong. Godfrey the rebound.
But that's an area where Clemson is really good, defensive rebounding.
Yeah.
When they do get stops, they normally take advantage of them by not giving back those second chance opportunities.
R.J. Godfrey on the floor now with Clark, Hall, Gerard, and there's a 3 ball from Clark that bounds away.
It's going to get him an exit, I think. I don't think Coach Brownell liked that 3.
The Jack Clark 3? Yeah. Maybe not what he was looking for. Wiggins up off the bench along with Dylan Hunter.
But one of the things that we talked about Clemson's defense, Jack Clark is in the starting lineup now because he's a better defensive player. When you consider the fact that they started the majority of the season with Wiggins at the small forward position, and you're talking about a 6'10" guy, it's difficult for a 6'10" 3-man, not named Carmelo Anthony, to be able to defend at this level.
By the way, R.J. Godfrey, whose dad was an all-time great football player at Georgia.
Cowboys.
He also did play in Dallas.
I don't know how a guy from Washington can be for Dallas. Anyway,
I'm from Virginia. I'm not from Washington. I am from Virginia.
10 miles from the stadium. 10 miles from the stadium. Dang.
Third foul on Clemson. Free throw by Miles Kelly good. He's 72% on the year, has 7 tonight. And Clark and Chase Hunter will leave as Dylan Hunter and Chauncey Wiggins come in. And here is Miles Kelly. If he knocks this down, he'll be at 1,000 in his career. 6'6" junior from Stone Mountain, who's 16th best scorer in conference play. And that'll do it. 1,000 points for Miles Kelly.
And WD, he started off the game like he was going to have 1,000 points before the media timeout. He knocked down 2 threes early, but Clemson's done a great job on Miles Kelly as of late, keeping him quiet here on his home floor.
48th player in the 109-year history of Georgia Tech to score 1,000 points is Miles Kelly.
Coach, trivia question for you.
Yes.
Do you know who was a basketball coach here at Georgia Tech back in the 1911-12 season?
I was around them, but I wasn't that old yet. Come on, please. Gee whiz.
WD, you want to tell him?
John Heisman.
John Heisman.
I knew it was a trick question.
How big is that?
Here's a takeaway by Godfrey. The lead 16 again for Georgia Tech. Gerard against Sturdivant. Kick out for Hall. Re-entry on the bounce for Godfrey. Up strong and fouled by Sacco. Ibrahima's second, and the second on Georgia Tech. So that'll send R.J. Godfrey to the line from Sewanee, Georgia. His dad, Randall, by the way, 11 years in the NFL. Out of Georgia at linebacker. Terrific player in the early 90s.
Especially with the Cowboys.
First of 2 is good. Don't forget next Wednesday night following Duke and Louisville. Coach K and Roy Williams, Rivals Reunited, debuts on ACC Network. 1-hour visit with 2 of college basketball's all-time great coaches.
That was an hour visit?
It was about an hour and 28, but
well, that's more
cut it down to an hour.
That's more time than they spent together in the previous 36 years. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be enlightening.
So
they didn't invite me either.
No, next time we'll include you.
No, that's all right.
No, don't. Let's leave them out, Coach. Me and you will go hang out. We'll have a talk.
Yeah.
But I'll just ask a couple questions because you can cover an hour and a half just telling stories on your own. You don't need anybody there to moderate that.
Godfrey missed the second chance at the second free throw, by the way. So the lead is 17. Tell you what, we've acquired some Boeheim stories in our little journeys around the ACC this year. Some that the coach told us and some that others have told us.
Well, you guys are boring. I have to talk a lot just to keep it going, keep the activity up.
Sturdivant 3, and Schieffelin had it, and a foul to be called. Bill Covington gets Ian Schieffelin for his 3rd. It'll be the 4th on the Tigers. We take a break in Atlanta.
So how was your day, Liz?
Corey, we're here with one of the great luminaries in all of college basketball, as you know.
Yeah.
Well, last night we had a dinner at a restaurant here in Atlanta where in a previous experience at the same restaurant, Coach Boeheim was, I mean, how do you say this? The guy thought you were Bernie Sanders.
Well, Bernie Boeheim in 2024. I am with it.
First of all, you don't even know how to tell the story. I'm sitting there with my son and a couple other people, and this guy comes over and says, "Hey, great year. Well, you're doing an unbelievable job." And I'm kind of feeling good.
Right.
And I don't think we were that good either. But anyway, and then he goes, "Well, good luck, Bernie." And he walks away. My son still laughs about it. So that was like 8 years ago or something.
And of course, Buddy told the story to Joe Girard,
right,
who had to make sure he let us know that story earlier today. But I can tell you right now, Bernie Boeheim in 2024, I am with it. You get my vote, Coach.
I think I'm a lot better looking, by the way.
To the point, Joe Girard says, "So I heard you went to the restaurant where Coach was thought to be Bernie Sanders." Yes, that's exactly where we went. Amazing. 3-ball Sturdivant, shot clock winding down, and knocked away Hunter on a heck of a play.
Chase Hunter.
And now the feed back. Gapari's dunk is blocked, and a foul is called. Tim Clockerty gets P.J. Hall for his 2nd.
But look at Clemson defending the rim. First off, the play by Chase Hunter was flat out amazing. What would have been an easy putback. Chase Hunter coming out of nowhere. And then look at what happens after. You see once again another rejection at the rim by P.J. Hall. I'm not sure how P.J. Hall got the foul on that play.
Gapari will have a couple of free throws here.
I think early, 9 points. I think Georgia Tech had 3 threes in the first 2 minutes. They've scored 27 points since then. So Clemson's defense has really picked it up.
Jackets are 2 of 15 from the floor here in the second half, Corey.
Coach just mentioned the defense from Clemson has been much better. Brad Brownell making adjustments at halftime, tightening things up. But also when you look at the personnel for Clemson, getting Jack Clark into that starting lineup I think has been a huge bonus for us. WD, I asked you earlier, this is game 5 in a row that he started.
Yep.
But when you think about what he does for them on the defensive end, I think that's all the help that they needed.
Hunter slashes for Wiggins. Here's Hall out front. It's long. It hit the top of the glass. It's still live. Wiggins the rebound. Clemson with a new 20. Chauncey will roll into the lane and score. First basket of the night for the sophomore from Grayson.
And I think Wiggins was really good early in the year, and he struggled a little bit. His game's fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, averaged just 2.8 in his last 5 after only hitting a third of his shots from the floor in those 5 games.
But, Coach, how much of that is due to the familiarity of the league? Once you start playing ACC games, that becomes a part of it.
A little bit. But he was really pretty good early. He had some big games.
And Reeves is fouled, and I think Wiggins will be ticketed with his 3rd. That is 6 now on Clemson in this half. Clemson's got 6. Georgia Tech only 2.
Coach Brownell, he's great. He's all coaches don't stop fouling.
But I love the fact that he ran down to the bench and told the entire team stop fouling, as if any of those guys were in the game and did that. You've done that in the past, I'm sure, right?
100%.
Reeves free throw good. He's now got 6 in the game. Don't forget tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern, following a doubleheader of the women's game. We'll bring you nothing but net. Kelsey Riggs with Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw, Ivory Latta, Kelly Gramlich will be there. Chronicle the night, preview the weekend ahead. Right here on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. Both free throws for Reeves. He's got 7 in the ball game now and 4 of 4 at the line. Carter Murphy, you see on the floor wearing number 4, is an Air Force transfer. There's a 3. Godfrey had a crack at it. Claw had touched it last. It will stay with the Tigers.
Georgia Tech now in the 2-3 zone, but one of the things we know, and Coach Boeheim can definitely attest to that, you have to understand where your block out and where your rebounding assignments are going to be. When you're playing in that zone, everyone has to find someone, especially with as good as Clemson is on the offensive glass.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't block out. You just got to go try to get it.
Hunter a standing 3. Got it. Chase Hunter's second 3 of the night. He's in double figures now with 10.
They're a hard team to play zone. You got 4 or 5 guys that can shoot threes. Joe Girard isn't even in the game. But I think Coach Sturdivant is just trying to get calmed down a little bit. They're wearing down.
Yeah.
No question.
WD, how about Damon Stoudemire walking over, and the first thing he had to say was he was so happy to see Coach Boeheim.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he brought up what he said may have been his best pass ever.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of great ones, but it may be his best pass ever at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Against the Orange.
But what surprised me, I know he didn't pass that much, and I know you never passed. So for him to mention a pass was shocking to me. I mean, he was a great scorer. Great scorer.
Tell you what, he played on some terrific Arizona teams.
And he was part of the reason why they were so terrific.
Right. Yep. Inside, here's Hall, 10 to shoot. Double team help, Murphy and Ndongo on P.J. Hall. See if Reeves commits to it. Here's Hall inside. How about the little soft fall away that's short? They'll crash the glass. It got deflected around. Gapari the rebound off the deflection. And a reach will be called on Godfrey long before the shot. 2 shots? No, it's on 2. It's on Dylan Hunter. Beg your pardon. His first. That is 7 on Clemson, so it's 1-1 with 9:15 to play. And the Jackets will go to the free throw line where in league play they are 11th, 70.9 on the year. Tafara has got 8. He had 10 and 9 rebounds on Saturday against Syracuse.
He was that one rebound away from them having 3 guys with a double-double. Is that correct?
Yeah. And the point I guess getting to here is Damon Stoudemire knows he's got a young team, Jim. So incremental steps at times are just as valuable as the bigger steps in his building, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's working toward the future. He's trying to develop his system, his culture. And he's got too many young players to be consistent. And I'm surprised that they could beat Duke in North Carolina.
Look at this slip pass. Hall. Godfrey went up strong, lost it, 1 to shoot, and that'll be a shot clock violation on the Tigers.
I thought the most interesting thing that Damon Stoudemire talked about, which was a lot of very interesting things throughout this morning we talked to him. He said this first year for him, he wants to study the opposing coaches. He wants to understand the systems that they run, their nuances, their characteristics. He feels like that will make him a better coach in year 2 and moving into the future. And, of course, Damon had tremendous success at Pacific and now trying to bring that success to the ACC.
You see the Georgia Tech field goal drought's almost 7 minutes. And, whoa, that'll end there.
Gapare fortunate not to get a technical foul on that one. However, he had a little extra hang time on the rim. But we talk about Georgia Tech's lull, but this lead is maintained really 16 points. Clemson really hasn't been able to extend that lead anymore.
They haven't been able to score much themselves. Their defense has kind of helped them in, kept it in there.
Here goes Chase Hunter, kicks for Wiggins, 4 to shoot. Hunter standing 3, got it. 6.5, 13 in the ball game for Chase Hunter.
Chase Hunter had an opportunity to line the seams up on this one, Coach.
Yeah, Chase Hunter's coming home, and he's having a nice game, and you like to see that when they do come home. He's a really good, solid player, and he's playing well at home.
Sonic blockbuster for you and Mr. O'Brien on Saturday at 4 at JPJ, huh?
Yeah, Virginia off of a struggle on Monday, dropping to 11-5. So if they're going to make up any ground, they're going to have to do it on a home floor where North Carolina has not won in 10 seasons. You go back. So Armando Bacot never won in his home state against the University of Virginia.
Wow.
They're a different team at home. They just are.
Absolutely.
Say that about a lot of schools this year, can't you, Coach?
Yes, you can.
But then you can also talk about the teams that are different on the road, like the Pitt Panthers.
Yep.
Excuse yesterday's performance. Pitt has been better on the road than they have been at home.
Here's Miles Kelly bouncing back for Ndongo. Nicely drawn play and by Ndongo's second field goal.
Tell you what, this is my first time having an opportunity to see By Ndongo live.
Yeah.
I like what this young man is going to be really good for Damon Stoudemire.
He is a 6'9", 215-pound freshman from Mboro in western Senegal. Here's the zone again. We saw it briefly in the first half from Georgia Tech. Clark shoots over it and scores. 8 for Jack Clark, his second 3 of the night. And Clemson now closing in on a season high. Need 1 to reach their season high that they had in game 1 against Winthrop. Lead is 20. And pulled away on the deflection. Here's Hunter. Chase Hunter left all alone. Carter Murphy, the transfer from Air Force, out there defensively. Here's Schieffelin for another one. And Gapare the rebound. Nobody home for the Tigers underneath there. There goes Murphy. And he'll roll in. Carter Murphy, just his 9th field goal of the year. Played 4 scoreless minutes on Saturday against Syracuse.
Damon Stoudemire looking for anything on the offensive end. Carter Murphy giving him a bucket, driving to the rim. Has the ability to shoot it as well from beyond the 3-point arc. So Damon trying to find someone from the perimeter that can give him something offensively.
Hunter for Girard. Nice shot fake. 3 over traffic. Good. Joseph knocks down another one. 7.5, a dozen on the night.
Coach, you know we used to tell them when they would jump like that on the pump fake, fly birdie.
Yeah. Cannot go for that. He's a master at that pump fake.
21-point lead for Clemson, and there is a foul. I think that's going to be on Clark. It'll be the first on Jack, 8th on Clemson. Free throws coming up here.
Chase Hunter dropping dimes.
Whew.
Threading the needle to the corner, of course, fly birdie for Joe Girard, knocks down the 3 ball, and Brandy loves it. A former hooper herself, WD.
Yep, played for the great Andy Landers at Georgia. Here's Ndongo at the line. He's 2 for 2. 5:41 to play, by to the line for a couple. And the first one good. Ndongo with 7 in the game. He's had 12 double-figure contests against the ACC, including the 21 on Duke in the first conference game he ever saw. Had a double-double that day against the Blue Devils.
Set the bar pretty high, huh?
Ooh, he's had 5 double-doubles this year. Again, we said it in the first half. I think the all-rookie team is going to be a chore. You got to pick 5 of a list of, what, Jim, 8?
Yeah, there's probably 8 or 9 that you're going to have to talk about. A lot of guards, a lot of perimeter guys.
We'll wait a couple of weeks before we start breaking down first-team values.
Yeah, a lot of important games coming up down the stretch that are going to determine who gets those first-team spots as well as who gets those first 4 buys in the ACC tournament.
Clark on a kick out. Hall. Here is Schieffelin into the lane with the right hand, and Ian Schieffelin now with 19 in the game, 1 off his career high. Just ahead of 5 minutes to go.
There's too much experience, too many solid players, and Georgia Tech's going to run. They're running out of gas a little bit. They fought pretty hard early, but they're just a little overmatched here with Clemson.
And Ndongo, boy, Clark doing a good job preventing him from wiring the baseline, and Reeves ran into trouble underneath the basket. Girard all the way through, tried to dump it to Schieffelin. He got knocked away and last touched by Georgia Tech.
Joe's one of those scorers that should shoot, because when he tries to pass sometimes it's not a good idea.
But, Coach, doesn't he lead Clemson in assists?
He's a good passer, but everyone, like that play, he has his play. Go ahead and make your play. They'll get the rebound if he misses.
Leads them in assists in all games. Chase Hunter's their leader in conference play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Joey's had a really good year. He's been really solid for them in all areas.
Yep. Seemed to be a really good fit for what Clemson needed.
Great fit. Sometimes the transfer portal is great. Helps the player, helps the team.
Hunter, step back 3. Oh, boy. Chase Hunter now has got a 9-point half, and they're all 3s, Corey.
He is feeling good about things being back home in Atlanta, and it has shown up significantly here, putting on a show in front of Mom.
24-point lead, and that'll be a hand check on the Tigers against Ian Schieffelin. That'll be his 4th by my count with 4:12 to play. That is 9 now on Brownell's club. So 1-1 coming up here.
And the sad thing about this is, if he leaves his guys in and they keep this margin
right
and their efficiency, which they will, they'll gain 4 or 5 extra spots in the net. That's what the net is, margins and efficiencies. You put everybody in and you let Georgia Tech get 10, 12-point run, you lose a lot. And that's just not right, I don't think.
Well, one thing for certain, we know Jimmy Brackus does not subscribe much to the net. And neither do Clemson fans, because the original year, the first year of the net rankings, Clemson finished in the top 35, but did not get an at-large bye. It was Clemson and NC State, who both were, I believe, 31 and 33 or 32 and 34, respectively.
Yep.
And I was one of the main people, crying from, why does this not matter when these two teams who have been great ACC teams don't get an opportunity to get into the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think,
Well, you have to realize, too, if your league is putting teams in based on the net and you don't win any games in the tournament, there's something wrong there.
Yeah. Here is Girard and the Tigers. It does beg the question if the basketball committee will look at other values this year, and Girard knocks down. Is that a 2 or a 3? They're going to look at that on the return here on the next dead ball. It stands as a 2 right now for Girard.
I think the committee looks at a lot of things. They don't look just at the net. I think it's used too much by the prognosticators, but I think they look at road wins. They look at your non-conference schedule.
Right.
The committee looks at that stuff.
Come up high, get it back door.
course, gone are the days of the RPI. Remember those? Those were fun, weren't they?
Well, we like that better.
Yeah.
I was much more of a fan of the RPI than I am the net.
Well, we also used to count on last 10, last 15 games, too. Here's Hunter on the drive. He's all the way through and one. Gapari commits the foul. Hunter's having a terrific half. He's got 11 and a half. Gapari commits his second.
WD.
It'll be the third on the Jackets.
I text Brandy and asked her if she was going to be here.
Driving the ball, making defensive plays, blocking shots on 6'10" guys. And, of course, Schieffelin's back home also. Big night shooting the ball and does all the other things that he does every game. Drive on the floor, rebound, get loose balls.
Well, those are our star stories for players that have been crushing it tonight, and it's brought to you by Crush. How about that? 37 from Schieffelin and Chase Hunter tonight. So Grayson Rams and Westlake in the house tonight here, Corey.
Yeah, Westlake showing up big time, and Grayson, of course. And you've got two guys from Grayson, correct?
Yep, two from Westlake.
And two from Westlake.
Yep.
Both the Hunter brothers from Westlake, so you got double dip on both sides. Great high school basketball. And again, when you start thinking about the Atlanta area, it is a hotbed of talent.
And just because R.J. Godfrey went to South Gwinnett, let's don't leave him out.
No. You got 5 for Clemson. You got 5 for Georgia Tech.
Chase Hunter, by the way, missed the chance at the three-point play. Georgia Tech's the ball, trailing 26 now, under 3 to go. Boz Leida has come in the game, along with Gerard, Godfrey, Chase Hunter, and Chauncey Wiggins. P.J. Hall going to end up with a scoreless second half and 11 points maybe tonight over there on Coach Brownell's bench. Ian Schieffelin also has come out of the lineup here in the final 2:22. Sturdivant tees one up and hits. Kyle Sturdivant now's got 7.5, a dozen in the ball game.
Sturdivant led Georgia Tech in scoring, and their win over Syracuse was 17 last time out. What a luxury it is for Damon Stoudemire to have him coming off the bench when you've got a freshman point guard. Having that veteran to help show him the way absolutely helps.
Don't forget women's basketball on Sunday. Triple header to get you going at high noon from Chestnut Hill. Number 19 Notre Dame visits Boston College. And then number 8 Virginia Tech and North Carolina, presented by Food Lion from the Castle in Blacksburg. And then we will wrap it up at 5:30 from Cameron with NC State and Duke. All Sunday, all on ACC Network, streaming live on the ESPN app.
Kara Lawson and the Duke Blue Devils, very difficult to go into Cameron Indoor and beat them in there. Virginia Tech actually lost one of their 2 ACC losses at Duke. And now another opportunity for the Blue Devils to get a huge win over a top 10 North Carolina State Wolfpack.
How about in the Big Ten? Illinois is up the whole game, up 8, and lose it right at the end. Penn State.
We don't pay any attention to this, Coach.
I just like to follow this.
We know you watch all basketball.
Everybody.
I just like to see all this other stuff.
I like being here with a encyclopedia of the game. It's amazing.
Just old, that's all.
No, stop that. Here is Beadle. Little runner with the left hand for Josh Beadle out of Columbia. His first basket. I will say this, it looks like the 3 road teams are going to post wins tonight in the ACC. Duke winning at Miami, Notre Dame winning at Louisville, and of course Clemson here up 25 with 100 seconds to go. And Claude will be fouled by Leida. And the only reason I bring that up, guys, is that home teams were 68-44 when we started play tonight, winning 61%. Now, that'll be 68-48. And you look at the scores tonight, and you guys have both referred to the last 3 weeks of the regular season. There is some meat left on the bone in this league, Corey.
There absolutely is. And when you look at the schedule for the Clemson Tigers going down the stretch, this was a must-win for them. You think about their last regular season game, they have to play against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who, of course, are going to need that win on their home floor, because you see their net rankings where they jumped up 14 spots after that huge win over the Pitt Panthers yesterday.
Deeks made a move on a team that had had success on the road. Here's Boz Lido's not played since the Louisville game, missing a 3. And Clemson up 24 now with a minute and change to go. Tigers looking for their 5th win in the last 7 games against Georgia Tech. Here's Godfrey inside with a right hand, scores. R.J. Godfrey's 2nd field goal. He's got 5 all in the second half.
And Brad Brownell and his staff up, loving the execution by their guys, getting exactly what they want at the end of the shot clock on that possession.
Encouraging performance tonight for Clemson, Jim?
This is a big performance. The win was important, but the win like this is really helpful.
And a foul on Lida. Tigers, by the way, host Florida State on Saturday, Corey, a team they beat by 11 about a month ago. And then next Tuesday night, Pitt, who they played in their first ACC game in early December, comes to Littlejohn. And as you stated earlier, both of you have remarked about it, Jeff Capel's team is a very good road team.
A very good road team, and also one of the teams that Jimmy Bucket said has a chance of getting into the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. When you have 6 road wins and you beat Duke and Virginia on the road, you have the chance. They have to finish, but there's still a lot of basketball to be played. But they're in the mix, and Wake Forest is going to be in this tournament. They're a tournament team. You watch them play, you can tell that. And, you know, Clemson, I think Duke's coming on. You know, we know North Carolina's going to be good in the tournament. We're going to have some hard, tough teams to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yep. Final half minute here.
And it's going to make D.C. very interesting at ACC tournament time when you've got so many teams playing for so much going down the stretch.
Yep.
100%.
Beetle all the way through, feeds Lida, who missed the layup. And with 18 seconds left, Georgia Tech, who's going to be at Miami on Saturday. There's a 3 from Murphy, and Lida tried to keep it alive and did enough for Dylan Hunter to get it and dribble it out. Brad Brownell is going to go to 21-9 as the Tigers head coach against Georgia Tech and his team, a 24-point victory here tonight.